I'd like to share with you about a topic called home buying process. There are 10 steps of buying a home. And I'm going to share each step with you. Towards the end, I'm going to share what you should look for when buying a condo. So let's go into it. The first step is get educated. Now, there are a lot of resources out there that can help you get familiar with the home buying process, because buying a home nowadays can be complicated with all the real estate laws and also federal rules and regulations, stuff like that. So you want to get educated. And there are a couple of non-profit organizations out there that you can attend first-time home buyers classes. And they are located in Boston. Just to name a few. One is called MAHA, Mass Affordable Housing Alliance. They're located in Boston. And the other one is called ACDC, Asian Community Development Corporation. They're located in Chinatown. And also there are a lot of non-profit organizations in different towns. And you can go to your city website, and you might perhaps be able to search for those non-profit organizations. And there is a small fee for you to attend. And those classes will consist of mortgage, home inspection, real estate, attorney law, and also some other topics including insurance. So you want to get yourself educated and be familiar with the home buying process, if you will. The next one, financial due diligence. So before you talk to each lender or a lender, you will want to go to a website called www.freecreditreport.com or www.annualcreditreport.com. And you will want to look at your credit histories to make sure that you don't have any delinquencies that are outstanding with creditors. That will affect your credit scores and also your interest rate. And you might not be able to qualify for a mortgage if you have too many delinquency accounts or pending accounts that are in delinquencies. So that's the first thing that you should do. So let's say in a perfect world, if your credit scores are good and also you do not have any outstanding delinquency accounts, then you should talk to a lender and try to get a pre-approval letter, because there are a couple of benefits of getting a pre-approval letter. Number one, you sort of know what kind of interest rate that you're going to get. Number two, your down payment percentage, your monthly payment as well, and also what type of loan program that you might be qualified for. So those are the benefits of getting a pre-approval letter. And most sellers will look at the pre-approval letter. Without the pre-approval letter, they're not going to even negotiate with you. So the first step is to get a pre-approval letter from any lenders, including the lender that you have a bank account or bank accounts with. And also try to get a good faith estimate or truth in lending, if you will. It's called a closing costs. You want to know the rough estimate in terms of how much your closing costs is going to be, so you can budget accordingly. The next step is what type of loan program that you might be qualified for. And there are a few out there. Number one, conventional, which consists of 30-year fixed and 15-year fixed, 2020. Adjustable rate, jumbo loan, VA, mass housing, 203K, just to name a few. And each lender will have its own loan programs to offer to different buyers. So make sure you check in with your lender about it. Um, Number 3, home searching analysis. Now, you want to know what is your current situation is in terms of tenancy. Are you renting? Is your lease is about to expire? Or do you still have time to look for housing? And if so, how much time do you need to close? So that you might need to renew your lease or try to ask your landlord to allow you to stay a few months, even if you have to pay penalties, so be it. But at least, give you time to close on the property. And what type of property that you might be interested in? A single family home, multi-family home, townhome, or a condo. So you're gonna know exactly what you're looking for. And within those properties, you will run into conventional properties, which they listed and sell by the owners, but they are going to be in the MLS listing. Number 2, you're going to run into short sale and foreclosures, and each is going to be different. Conventional is listed by the listing agents and sell by the seller, and those could be quick closings, short sale, which means the seller is in trouble financially, and the property that they purchase versus the property that they might be able to sell is going to be short. It's going to be fall short of what they owe versus what they can sell, and that's what called short sale. And it could take 3, 6, 9 months, even a year or longer. So therefore, if you living in a rental property and your lease is about to expire, making sure you have time to close. And the next one is foreclosure. Foreclosure can be closed quickly as well because the bank owned the property outright, and therefore you can close the property within 45 days, 60 days, or even shorter. So those are the situations that you're going to be running into. And before you look at any properties, school system is very important, especially when you have a young family or to have a young family, because certain towns with school systems, the values tend to be higher. So therefore, making sure you do sufficient research in terms of what town and city that you want to live in. And also, do you want it near the T station, highway, churches, schools, retail stores, or a center, or close to your family as well? What type of homes are you looking for? What kind of style? How many bedrooms? How big is the yard? Do you want a garage? Do you want an up-ground pool or in-ground pool? Do you want a finished basement? And so, what type of heating? Gas or oil? So those are the important things to think about before you go out and look at properties. If you don't have an idea of what kind of properties, you can attend open houses without your realtor and check them out, so that they will give you an idea of what exactly are you looking for. And of course, each person situation is different. Some might be able to afford higher prices, and some might be able to afford lower prices. So each situation is different, but I'm just giving you a general picture of what you're going to be dealing with when looking at the property or properties. The next step is home searching process. Let's say you have an idea of what you're looking for. The next step is to work with an experienced real estate professional. That real estate professional will help you search for the right home. Now, before you hire a real estate professional, making sure you ask a lot of questions to make sure that he or she is able to answer your questions. And that's how you test the knowledge and experience of that realtor. If he or she stumble, you knew that either that realtor is either part-time or haven't sold a lot of properties. So even though that realtor has been in the business for a long time, but if he or she hasn't sold a lot of properties, which tells you that he or she doesn't have a lot of experiences during the difficult situations that you might be running into. So making sure you ask a lot of questions and making sure that you feel comfortable with the answers that they give you, so that at the end of the day, that realtor is going to act as your advocate to represent you throughout the home buying process. And thereafter, if you have a realtor in place, then you convey as much information as possible to your realtor to make sure that he or she is fully understood of what type of properties and towns and price range that you're looking for, so that you're not going to be around the bushes to trying to find any properties, because you worked, or most people work full-time, 5 days a week, 6 days a week. So therefore, you might not have time to beat around the bushes if you really want to buy within 3 to 6 months. So give as much information to the realtor, so that the realtor, when they see something, they will notify you, or they will send you listings from the MLS for you to attend open houses and communicate with that realtor on a regular basis, and vice versa. Now, as I mentioned before, when you found any properties that you like and you go out with your realtor to look at properties, the rule of thumb is do not look at any more than 5 properties. Because when you look at more than 5 properties, your mind will start to get confused in terms of which house located where, and what bedrooms each house consists of, and what kind of style, and how big is the yard, just to name a few. So do not view more than 5 properties each time that you go out to view properties. So that's important to know. The best is 3, but the maximum is 5. Now, any property that you like, put them aside and go back to view the second time. Now bear in mind, with the market has just picked up, there are a lot of times where after you saw the property, it might be gone. So therefore, you might have to face with a quick decision, and you might be running into multiple bidding as well. So making sure you're ready. That's why the research comes in handy. They will help you. Well, the research and the information will help you to prepare when you find a home. Number 5, when you found a home, you are ready to submit the offer to purchase, and your realtor will help you to write up an offer to purchase. That will include offer to purchase, contingency addendum, agency disclosure, Massachusetts lead bank form, earnest deposit, and your pre-approval letter. Now, what information contained on each form, I will leave it up to your realtor to explain to you what each form means. And let's say if you submit an offer, and when the offer gets accepted, based on price, term and conditions, your borrow amount, your loan qualification, and also your closing dates, just to name a few. And again, everything should be on those forms. And those forms should be in our detail, so that your realtor will fully explain to you what each form stands for and what it means, or what they mean. Now, let's say if you have an accepted offer, the next step is home inspection, which is step number 6. Now, you can ask your realtor to refer you to a couple of licensed home inspectors. And when you hire a home inspector, then the next step is to perform a home inspection. And therefore, you need to notify your agents, so the agent will notify the listing agents and the seller to allow you to access throughout the whole property during home inspection. So during home inspection, you have to be there, and your realtor has to be there as well. And ask any questions about the home, because you're not owning the home yet. So you want to get familiar with any problem with the home from the home inspection. And there are a couple of things that you should pay attention to. Number 1, roof. Number 2, plumbing. Number 3, electrical. Number 4, structures. Number 5, foundation. Number 6, termites. Number 7, windows. And some other stuff that might be found during inspection, such as heating system, and also maybe previous flood in the basement. So those are the things that you should be aware of. Any of those things that were found during the inspection, it is the seller's responsibility to fix them. If not, you can ask for some credits from the sellers. And if there are multiple bidding, then pretty much you take it or you leave it, because the sellers have a lot more options if you do not want the house. So some people are willing to waive home inspection. The reason that they may accept your offer is because maybe you have the best price but not the best term. But if the seller cares about the price, then the seller will accept your offer based on the price. If they do not care about the price that much, they will take the easiest offer, which waive home inspection and with simplified term and conditions. So just bear in mind with that. So let's say if you pass the home inspection, the next step is number 7, signing the purchase and sale. So before you sign the purchase and sale, making sure you have an attorney in place to help you to review your purchase and sale before signing. Because the purchase and sale will supersede your offer to purchase, and therefore the bank will look at the purchase and sale, and also the purchase and sale is basically the main document for the whole transaction. So it is important to have an attorney to look at the purchase and sale and add any language that will protect you, including the rider or the riders. So having an attorney in place to review the purchase and sale is very important, especially in a buying transaction or process. So it can be complicated. So after you have reviewed the purchase and sale with your attorney, and the attorney give you final blessing on signing the purchase and sale, then before that or on the same day, some real estate firms might require you to get a bank check or personal check. So you have to go and get a bank check for the purchase and sale deposit when you sign the purchase and sale. So that's the next step. And making sure that you feel comfortable and fully understood about the purchase and sale before you signed it. So review it with your attorney or your listing agent, if you will. So after you sign the purchase and sale, the next step is getting the loan approved, what is called pre-closing preparation. So after you sign the purchase and sale, you have 48 to 72 hours to to complete the loan application. And therefore, if you wait too long, then you might need an extension on your loan application deadline. So you don't want to wait too long after you sign the purchase and sale, making sure 48 to 72 hours to complete the loan application, or you can complete the loan application beforehand, but the loan application will not be submitted to the underwriter until you have the fully executed purchase and sale. Along with that, that's when your loan application is going to be submitted to the underwriter to process your loan. So that's why it is important to complete the loan application after you sign the purchase and sale. One without the other, the loan will not be processed. And making sure during this period, follow up with your realtor, your lender, your attorney, and also making sure the appraisal is in line with your net selling price. Because if it's not, it's going to be an issue. Either you have to pay more or the seller would have to pay more. So making sure communication is very important between all parties, because everyone, regardless yourself or the seller, everyone has to work as a team to move this thing forward. So communication, stay on top of everything is very important. Now, the final date that you should pay attention to during the loan processing period, which is called final commitment day. The final commitment day is on the purchase and sale, which says that you as the borrower have to get a final commitment on a certain day. So once you get the final commitment, then you are 90% there during the process. The final commitment means that when you have the final commitment, the bank say to you that Mr. or Mrs. Borrower, your loan is approved, and therefore the fund is sitting in the account that is waiting for you to close. So the seller need to know that, and you need to know that as well. The final commitment is very important. When you get the final commitment, which means that 90% of the step is completed, 10% is just waiting for you to close. And then prior to closing, you have to get a homeowner insurance. Without the homeowner insurance, you cannot close. And it is part of the conditions on the final commitment or conditional commitment. It depends on how the lender issued the commitment. And I'll leave it up to your realtor to explain to you on that. And once you have the final commitment, everything signed off, then you are about to close. Before closing, within 24 to 40 hours, you will do two things. Number one, have the final walkthrough with your realtor to make sure that the property is in good condition or it's the same condition as before, and making sure the property has no damages, or if it is in the same condition as before. Again, and making sure the property is in bloom clean condition, because whatever the seller promised you to remove, then the seller must remove everything, including personal belongings. Anything that left behind, making sure it is on the purchase and sale and a separate addendum. Anything need to be fixed, making sure the seller has completed all the repair items on a separate addendum. So that's what the final walkthrough is all about, to make sure everything is in place before closing. And then the second thing is you will receive a HUD, H-U-D, it's called HUD settlement statement. That will give you all the expenses that you need to know as a buyer, including attorney fees, escrows, closing costs, prorations, any security deposits, any incomes from the sellers if it is a rental property. So that's what a HUD settlement statement is all about. And when you have reviewed the HUD settlement statement with your attorney, then the next step is closing, which is step number 9. So at the closing date, making sure you have the proper documents, including a driver's license or passport, along with the most important thing, a bank check, because you will get the figure from the HUD. So therefore, on the day of closing or before that, you have to go to the bank and purchase a bank check that is payable to you or to your name, and bring that check to the closing with any other required documents. So on the closing, making sure you get the keys from the sellers after you exchange funding and sign all the paperwork, and resolve any last minutes at the closing if necessary. The next step is post-closing. Making sure you have all the stuff packed, the rental truck is in place, and also open cable, phones, water and sewer, and also utility accounts. So those are the 10 steps as part of the home buying process. The next one is what should be aware of when buying a condo. There are a couple of things that you should be aware of when buying a condo. Number one, you want to get familiar with the health condition of the condo association. Review the condo docs. That includes declaration of trust, master deed, rules and regs of the association, which means rules and regulations of the association, to make sure that you're comfortable with the rules and regulations. Especially when you have pets, make sure that they allow you to have pets. So those are the rules right there. And also any recent and future special assessments that you should know of. And if they had recent special assessments, what those special assessments were for, any major improvements that were done to the common areas. If any future special assessment, what are those pertain to? So you should find out. And any past special assessments must be paid off by the seller before you close. And also, when I mention fees, including past special assessments, and also condo fees must be paid off by the seller. And the seller must get a 60 certificate to bring that certificate to the closing. The 60 represents that the special assessment or any condo fees and any past delinquencies or money owed to the condo association have paid off, so that going forward, you're not going to be on the hook for any future, for any past special assessments and any delinquent condo fees. And the last thing is the condo documents. Condo financial documents include income and expense account, annual projected budget, or annual budget. So those are the documents that you should review and ask questions, and direct any questions to the seller or the listing agent. So those are the things that you should be aware of. Having said that, I would like to thank you for listening, and I hope that the information that I'm sharing with you right now is helpful to your home search or for buying condo. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I can be reached at 781-901-6283, or my email is calvinlawhomes@gmail.com. And you can also visit my website,